Welcome to the tea table. I am so happy you've joined me today. We are sitting here in the end of February with the sun shining behind us and snow covering the trees. I don't know if you can see it, but there's snow everywhere. And I hear there's snow in California today. My son called me on the hill that has Hollywood, snow on the top. And my little granddaughter gets to wear her snow clothes. Really fun. Well, if you haven't gotten your tea yet, please pause, get your tea, and I will be waiting for you. Well, I have a beautiful tea set to show you today, and we're in pink. I can't get enough of that beautiful magenta pink. And so I have chosen a cup and saucer that is the pink magenta. See? And I am sorry, but I have already poured my tea because it was so cold. And I'm going to pour a little more because I just can't get enough tea today. And in preparing for my tea talk, I just thought I'll have a little sip of tea, and it is delicious. Oh my. I am drinking a very special tea today, and it was given to me from a wonderful student of mine, and he's from Kenya, and his name is John the Baptist. They take Christian names when they come because their names are difficult for people to pronounce. And he brought me, let me show you what he brought me. The most wonderful box of Kenyan gold tea. And I tell you, when you open the box, there are 4 packages of Kenyan gold tea wrapped so beautifully, and I love it. I've been drinking it all week, and I put, this is my special Victorian tea caddy that sits, I'm at my actual real tea table, tea cart. You know, the tea cart that rolls, that's what I'm sitting at today. Well, this tea caddy sits here, and I only put the most special tea in the tea caddy. And so in comes the gold, and look how much I've already used. I've been using this all week. And on this cold, snowy weather, it has warmed me. Oh my, so wonderfully. And I'm wearing a fur today because I'm trying to keep warm. It was 26 degrees last night, and I didn't hear a car go by. I think everyone just was afraid to drive. It was so icy. But I have on my tea table, like I said, I can't get away from the pink magenta cup and a little pink pot and a creamer and a sugar. And I have a little napkin that is just so sweet. I think I've had it on here before, but I have a package of these, pink rose with the green. A little napkin adds a nice touch to, you see, my little tea table, tea tray. And then I have some special treats just for you that I baked. These are homemade. Oatmeal, date, raisin, walnut, coconut cookies, brown sugar, very healthy. And they're in a lovely dish that has that wonderful French green and magenta, if you can see that, the roses there. I love this dish. I think it's so beautiful. And so those are for you, and especially, I think my little tea children, though some children don't like raisins and oatmeal, but These are really tasty because they have dates, raisins, walnuts, coconut, and oatmeal. Very, very healthy. One cookie is like a little cup of healthy granola cereal, but very tasty. And I use very good vanilla. That's a secret. And of course, real butter. Well, my tea cart today, I have a candle holder, but isn't it fun? It's electric. So I don't have to worry because I love candles, but you have to be so careful with the candles if you forget them and they're burning. And so I just left, this was sitting on my tea cart. It's a pink bouquet of roses and the candles. And we're still in February, and they call February the month of love. Yes, isn't that nice? So Valentine's Day is right in the middle, the 14th, halfway between the 1st and the 28th. So we are not done with winter though. We've had some nice sunny days and you think, oh, spring is here, spring is here. And then you turn around and you get a day like today. Woke up and the snow is still out there. I don't know if you can see it on my deck. It's on the trees. It's on the ledge. It's not melting because it's so cold. Usually in this part of the country, we may get a snowfall and then it warms up and it melts, but not today. It's staying. So I'm sure some children are enjoying it, but it's so cold. They would have to dress so warm to play in it. Oh. Well, last week we talked about the presidents, remember? And I told you that about George Washington and then a dear friend on the Tea Talk, Debbie, my college roommate, who is one of the tea people that faithfully is with us every week. She sent me the most beautiful picture on a text of Abraham Lincoln. And I thought, whoa, I don't have a picture of Abraham Lincoln. I have 3 of George Washington. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to see if I can get one made. So I emailed it to my printer, went down, and they printed me the most beautiful copy. Here it is. Abraham Lincoln, 11 by 14. And it's the real traditional one that I know when I was young. In our schoolroom, every schoolroom in America had an Abraham Lincoln and a George Washington. Well, I'm going to tell you a secret so that I can help you, because sometimes you get a beautiful picture on a text or you have a beautiful picture of a grandchild. It's hard to get hard copies made nowadays. Well, I emailed that and I only had to pay 80 cents for 11 by 14. And when it came out, all the people in the shop, we were going, it's so beautiful. It looked better than the little picture. Every line was showing on his face and oh my goodness, it was phenomenal. So if you have something special you want to make into a hard copy, don't forget that, okay? You can just put it on an email it to a print shop, and they print it for you. I love it. Well, I want to talk a tiny bit about Kenya because my students, most of them are from Kenya, and I'm learning about this fabulous country and this tea. Now, think of this. We can have a cup of tea that comes from all the way around the world, and I'm drinking it here, and I'm enjoying it here. Can you imagine? And it's so delicious. You have to have a special climate to grow tea or coffee. And Kenya has it. Kenya, I'm learning, has the beautiful climate. They're on the equator, and so they have very nice weather most of the time. Very even temperature weather. And that is where all the beautiful animals come from. also where the famous runners, you know, in the Olympics, there's always the Kenyan runner. That's where they come from. Then I learned Lake Victoria, the huge lake in the middle of Africa, is in Kenya. That is where the Nile River originates. It comes right from Lake Victoria, and then goes all the way. It's the unique river that flows from south to north, goes all the way through the other African countries, and then ends up in Egypt, goes into the Mediterranean Sea. Isn't that something? And one thing my students have told me, I love them, they're so special. They're the most happy people. And they said, everyone in Kenya smiles. We're happy in Kenya. Isn't that beautiful? I love when people love their country. And they love their country, but they love to be here studying. Most of them will go back and they will establish schools and churches and hospitals, and they work in many different areas. Really interesting, wonderful introduction for me to meet them and to know them. Well, have you had a good week? Have you kept busy? Because we're entering now Lent. Last night, of course, was Ash Wednesday, and that is the day, the holy day of the beginning of Lent, and then will lead us 40 days to Easter. It's a very special season, and this is also known as the season of spring cleaning. That's what it comes from, getting everything cleared and cleaned and fresh by Easter. And then the tradition was, after Easter, you go outside and work in your garden and get the outside in order. So we have a good season now, 40 days, to have quiet and reflection and think about God and holy things, and clean and clear and organize. My first memory, one of my first memories as my childhood, was waking up on an Easter morning. I must have been really little, hearing the church bells, and then seeing the robins in the grass and the bluebells. And it's such a strong memory. And then, you know, we always had an Easter hat, Easter gloves, Easter purse, Easter shoes, Easter dress. Very special. That was really, really, and everyone I knew had that, and everyone that I knew, and then even in my neighborhood, everyone went to church on Easter. Very special. Different churches, and honored that day. Very special. That's the beginning of spring, the beginning of looking forward to the flowers. And I love this time of year. I think every season is so special, and we're so blessed to have the beauty coming now when we see these little tiny, well, I have on my porch, you know, I have the wonderful flowers, the first ones that come, and then I have tulips, and it's amazing how they can make it through this cold weather. And we have, in Washington State, good weather for tulips. So we have tulip farms up north, if you can get there, above Seattle. I live south of Seattle. Above Seattle, up in Snoqualmie area and Snohomish area, are the beautiful bulb farms. And they go for miles. Tulip farms. And that's something, you know, a lot of people can drive up and see. It's a wonderful, wonderful sight. Oh my. I grew up living near the Puyallup Valley, where in those days it was all daffodils. They were famous for the daffodils. And in my town of Tacoma, we had the daffodil parade. That was what we had, because there were so many. And that comes more in April, the end of March, early April. But the tulips are going to be coming a little bit before. These bulb flowers are so amazing. And, you know, the bright color, we need it. We need it, especially as the leaves aren't on the trees yet, but you just have a bouquet. Just gives your heart a good feeling, doesn't it? Yes. Well, I'm going to pour just a touch more tea here. I find this tea, this Kenyan tea, is just, it's exotic. I love it. It's strong, but it's not too strong. It's orange pekoe. It has wonderful flavor. I looked online too. You can order it because I thought I want to tell my tea people, see, I don't want to show you something that you want and you can't get. You can order it online. Isn't that great? And I was going to show you, I have just a little baby cream pitcher today and a little baby sugar. And it's amazing how in a cream pitcher this size, there's enough milk. It's just little. It has a rosebud on it. And the sugar bowl has a little rosebud. It's interesting how so much China has pink and particularly roses. It's constantly used. But I think a nice mix is the deep red, the deep pink, the light pink, and the white. The four together make a beautiful, beautiful combination. And that's often used also. Can you see behind me that beautiful sun came out, but it's cold. I stepped on my deck and it's frozen solid. That snow you see behind the flowers, it's frozen solid. So you have to be really careful. Yeah. Well, I hope that you are all having a good week, and I hope that you are being creative in this cold weather. I was going to tell you another little secret that I have learned that has really helped me. You know, if you want to write something like your story or your life story or a chapter about something or an idea, and you're not really computer literate or you don't feel you have enough skills, I discovered speak texting into an email on my phone works. You speak text, then you go through and make as many corrections as you can, grammatical or whatever. Then you email it to yourself, and then it comes up on the computer, and then you can go through and really perfect it or have someone else edit it, make a copy, and there you have it. And that can be one way to write your story. Because I know a lot of you personally, and I know that you have a lot to say, but you don't quite know how to mechanically get it done. Well, it's so exciting because then you can put a file on your computer and you keep that on your file. It organizes your writing. And I have done that for several of my papers for my schooling, and it works. And I love it. And I was thinking of Charles Dickens, and I was watching his a documentary on his life. He was so prolific. He wrote so much. But think of it, everything was by hand. Everything was pen and paper and pencil and paper, mostly pen and paper. He did know shorthand because he became a court reporter in his young years. That helped him. But still, all the great books until the last 100 years, I don't know when a typewriter was invented. Excuse me. But until that time, everything is by hand. And these people that were so prolific and wrote and wrote, I was discovering that Tillemann, the great, he's a wonderful composer. Do you know that Tillemann wrote 3,000 songs? He wrote more than Johann Sebastian Bach. He's Italian. They say he wrote for everything, and actually he's before Bach. He taught Bach's older brother. So these people did not have what we have. We have an advantage. We have no excuse, really. We have tools and mechanisms that no one has ever had in history. Even, like I said, to make a copy of something like Abraham Lincoln, think of it. I called up, sent the email, went down, printed it, got a frame. Actually, I got a frame at my little thrift shop for a couple dollars. Have the whole thing framed and sealed for very, very reasonable. It's fun. It's really amazing what we can do now. And so I want to encourage you, if you do have poetry or things you've written, you want to get them organized into a book, or you want to write your life story for your children, well, I say go for it. Beginning is halfway there. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. And I pray you have a beautiful week. And I think it's going to be cold for a while. But next time I see you, it's going to be March. I can't believe we're ending the February already, entering March. And March is my month. It's my birthday month, and I love March. March is the month of rainbows, the month of wind and drama, rain and sun. And the first day of spring comes in March. St. Patrick's Day comes in March. It's a fabulous month. Sometimes even Easter can come on rare occasions in March, but generally Easter is April. So this is a beautiful season. And I encourage you, though, if any of you do want to be writing, go for it. Try it. It's just the little microphone you push if you have a smartphone. It's speak text. There it is. It's at your fingertips. And the rest will be history. Well, God bless you, and thank you so much for joining me. And have a lot of tea this time. I mean, really. Tea is the best way to stay warm. Tea by your fire with a good book. That is all good cheer for this cold, cold weather. So I'm going to say goodbye, but if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe, push the notification bell, the like button, and please share with others and make a comment if you so like. I love your comments. They really are wonderful. And pass this on to others. I do this just to bring joy and goodness and God's love to all. Everyone is welcome to the tea table. Thank you. I will look forward to seeing you next time. God bless.